Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I know so many of you over on TikTok have been blowing up the comments asking for this, so today we're finally doing some customer reviews analysis for it. But before we dive into that, be sure to check out this exclusive discount available for it. You'll find it in the description and in the first comment under this video. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details.
Let's start with our first reviewer's experience.
This reviewer was facing a frustrating problem with their home network. While their internet plan was plenty fast, the speeds on their 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi band were disappointingly slow, which was an issue for several of their devices like security cameras that rely on that specific connection. Using their previous router, a standard Wi-Fi 5 model, our reviewer found that the 5 GHz band worked perfectly, easily delivering the full speed of their internet service. However, the 2.4 GHz band was a different story, barely reaching a fraction of that speed, which prompted them to look for a solution. After some troubleshooting and even a helpful conversation with the manufacturer's support team, this client decided to try upgrading to this newer Wi-Fi 6 router. The difference was immediate and significant. The new hardware nearly doubled the real-world speeds on the 2.4 GHz band, finally delivering a performance that felt appropriate for their internet plan. The key seemed to be the compatibility between this new router and their modern phone, both of which support the newer Wi-Fi 6 standard. This synergy allowed for a much more efficient connection on that often crowded 2.4 GHz frequency. While the 5 GHz speeds remained consistently maxed out on both the old and new hardware, the dramatic improvement on the 2.4 GHz band made this upgrade a complete success. For anyone experiencing a similar bottleneck despite having a fast internet connection, our reviewer found that moving to a more modern router was the perfect solution to their specific problem. The company's excellent customer support, which helped guide them toward this solution, was also a major positive in their experience.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer found themselves frustrated with the router supplied by their internet service provider. The main issue stemmed from the hardware's insistence on combining the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands into a single network. While this is often marketed as a convenience, it created persistent problems for our reviewer's smart home setup. Specifically, a set of new smart speakers purchased for their multi-room audio feature would constantly fail to sync. The provider's router would automatically switch the speakers between the two bands, and if even one was on a different frequency from the others, the whole system would break down. This led our client to search for a replacement router that offered more control. Upon receiving this new router, our reviewer was initially a bit wary of its lightweight construction, but the setup process quickly put them at ease. After a minor hiccup getting it powered on, they opted to configure it through a web browser instead of the recommended mobile app, a decision they found offered significantly more control and a better user experience. The most critical feature was immediately accessible, the ability to disable Smart Connect and create two distinct, separately named networks for the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands. This was the game changer. By connecting all the smart speakers exclusively to the 2.4 GHz network, the multi-room audio feature began working flawlessly, completely resolving the initial problem. Beyond just fixing the smart speaker issue, this client also noticed a tangible improvement in overall internet performance. Speed tests showed higher numbers, and web browsing felt noticeably snappier, which they credit to the more stable connection and stronger signal provided by the new hardware's external antennas. For anyone facing similar frustrations with ISP-supplied equipment, especially when it comes to managing smart home devices, this piece of hardware proved to be a major upgrade.
Awesome. Let's hear what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer considers themselves a networking novice, comfortable with basic tasks but not an expert. They were hesitant to replace the router provided by their ISP, but ultimately decided to try this device. Their experience with the SP-provided router was incredibly frustrating. The ISP restricted user access to network settings, only allowing SSID and password changes through their app. This was problematic because the router combined the 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz bands, causing conflicts and disconnects with older devices that only used the 2.4 GHz band, including a temperamental weather station. The reviewer needed to be able to separate the bands to assign devices accordingly. Setting up this router was surprisingly straightforward. After the usual modem reboot, plugging the Ethernet cable into the router's WAN port and powering it on, the setup was quick. You can use an app or a computer with an Ethernet connection. Since the reviewer had a Chromebook, they initially used a USB to Ethernet adapter, but found the app worked well for basic setup. The app is user-friendly, displaying connected devices and real-time upload-download speeds. The reviewer recommends disabling the 5 GHz band during initial setup to avoid conflicts, then re-enabling it after all devices are connected. This router has many advanced options which the reviewer couldn't fully detail. They suggested downloading the manual beforehand. Firmware updates can be scheduled, ensuring they occur during off-peak hours. The reviewer already owned other products from the same manufacturer and found them reliable. Connecting the router was seamless and the app is intuitive. The range is comparable to the previous router, although affected by the house's construction, a single wide with aluminum siding. 16 devices are currently connected without issue and seem faster overall. The guest network option is used for guests and the weather station, hoping to improve its stability. The only minor complaint was.
That's all for today. If you like this, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments.